topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the host and their guests, and not those of W4CS Radio, its employees, or affiliates. W4CS makes no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening to the Cancer Support Network on W4CS.com.
Hey guys, so we are here at another week of honestly a different time in our lives, and I think we're all having these moments where we're trying to honestly reflect on where life is going. And so I just thank you guys for joining us for another pause moment in reference to a place where sometimes we grieve together, but additionally, we also can come together to support each other in our conversations. And then additionally, like today, we get an opportunity to tell our truth and also show the vulnerability within each one of our steps in life, but also in reference to the necessity of transparency in reference to others and how they will be able to honestly keep navigating this thing called life. And so we have definitely had an opportunity to do that over the last few months, and it's been a great opportunity that two women could come together, like Arti and myself, to really push nothing more than the mission, right? And really knowing that there's a need. And our seeds had been planted early on, even prior to pandemic. And at the end of the day, we have made it something that we've embraced. And this platform has given us an opportunity to really look at life, but additionally light up life and also light up the lives of others. And so I hope that today this will be an opportunity for you to kind of come within and really look a little bit more introspectively in reference to how your life is going to ride its road as a end of life kind of professional. I am a lot of the times looking at life backwards. And this perspective of backwards is honestly one of these double-edged swords, right? Where there's this cutting aspect of reality of life, which this brings upon also this purpose and drive to find why, but also to leave that mark and that dash and that legacy as we move forward. And so it's also very cutting due to the fact that you kind of see this pathological road that life can take you on. And a lot of the times when you talk about pathology of life, we would definitely be looking at this basically deeper look at the parts of us. And so I think with perspective, honestly blessed, been able to gain it through this road of assisting in end of life, but also my life and who I am is also very meaningful in our walk because we are not only our career paths, we are not only the assistant, the director, the president, the social worker, whatever that label may be. We are also this have a commonality of being human. And so this is where I feel like I see how this end of life aspect has joined in reference to be able to move through and reference to the blessings. um, I have definitely the opportunity did and want to make sure I'm also passing them. So I wanted to make sure is that right. And when I first started moving through thinking of like, what are the topics for the next few weeks, I was thinking about the next coming year, right? Where I need to kind of reflect on where I've come from, right? And what the road has really given me in reference to blessings, but then also the down times, up times, and looking at where I stand today, whether I gained um, some kind of physical aspect of things, but additionally how I mentally, emotionally have grown as well. And so I think that I have to give um, some reverence to, honestly, in this moment, the light within, I feel like really was sparked even earlier prior to funeral service. I feel like there was this spark early on in my life where I realized I was different. I actually grew up in a predominantly white community as a one of two families in this community that were of minority, even descent, or additionally were Black families living within this town. And it was honestly for quite some time a reality of we were just kids and people, and we just were all the quote unquote same, right? And at the end of the day, I think it was when I say I first, if I were putting it, if you don't mind me putting it this way, but when I first realized I was Black per se, was when it was kind of smacked across my face. And in that moment of these definitely um, difficult times, because I felt like I was in a community that was safe, even though I was different. And then to know as you get older and you see the differences of how people are, and additionally their perspectives on whether it be life or it be you and your color of your skin, it has been honestly a difficult road in that perspective, because to know that some of the people that you thought were your friends or the houses that you walked into, they really didn't accept you, it was difficult. And so I honestly, um, in that moment of being called the N word, it was one of these things where I realized, oh, different. And I had to find within a love still for self. As life has moved forward, I honestly had been one of these people, was exercising, doing my thing and running 5 miles a day. And I thought I was going to be like the physical therapist of the world and then do also funeral service, all these things that I had in play. And then I additionally get smacked with this diagnosis, which was a diagnosis in a time that should have been honestly uplifting for me. I had just been married. I'm now pregnant with a child. We bought a house. And then 18 months later, Daria, you have multiple sclerosis. And don't be depressed because depression is not good. It causes all these issues, as we all know, right? But the disease causes depression. You just prescribed me a medication that causes what? Depression. Additionally, are you kidding? The disease itself gets depressing, right? So I move forward and start getting into a darker mindset of like, where is this unknown going to take me? And so I feel like this time period was an up and down wave. There was some more lower periods than I've ever known in my life. To think to myself, well, I don't even care about my life. But then recognizing that the only thing that in those low moments that was keeping me afloat was knowing that my baby girl, I needed to live for. I need to figure it out. So I shift. The mindset shifts to what? My longevity, right? Quantity as opposed to quality, right? Which one do I want? Do I want to take the medications that are going to give me flu-like symptoms and have all these 50,000 things, right? Or do I want to additionally try to ride it out with having some clarity in that mindset and then additionally being able to say, this is where pathologically the road took me. Oh, no. I honestly have to say that that was the dark. That was the dark speaking. And that is where I feel like when we're talking about needing to find emotional shifts within, it's recognizing that there is a loving you that has to come forth first, right? And so we talk about, and if we can pull up this slide, we talk about this light within. And people always say the term, oh, the light within, find the light within. And you're saying to yourself, well, where is the light and what is the light we're trying to find? Because I heard that the light was bad to follow the last time I knew, right? So at the end of the day, what is this light? And I think the light specifically needs to be also attached to this within, right? Because there is this inner spiritual level of what you believe in self, right? This inner enlightenment, which can guide the soul when you're trying in those unknown time periods in your life, when you're trying to figure out specifically where the road is taking you, there's the God that you might believe in, but then additionally, there's the light within you that you have to have faith in as well. And so finding that is probably one of the most difficult things because it also is a road in which you're having to trust. And I will tell you now, trust, even for myself, and probably for everyone, and especially in times like this, is not easy. And I think we tend to not trust even ourselves because of why? How much negative self talk are we having on a daily basis in which you're not able to basically even see past self to make the decisions to say, hey, listen, I am good enough. And so I think when we're trying to navigate this thing called life, I think it's very important to recognize that everybody can see this, find this period of awakening in their lives. And I think it first starts with how we think, and I always carry, and I wish I had it right now, but I always carry this planner that has actually a great little and additional like message at the beginning, and it is hits it on the nose because I think if we don't start with the thinking, our thinking first, it's really going to be hard for honestly even our religious or faith-based connections to really surpass this uh, these deep dark periods, and really carry us through. Yes, they fortify in spaces, but how do they hold us through? And so, keeping our intentions positive because your intentions become your focus, right? Keep your focus positive because your focus becomes your thoughts. Keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your feelings. Keep your feelings positive because your feelings become your actions and your words. Keep your actions and words positive because they become your what? Habits. Keep your habits positive and your habits result like so. I think if self in reference to the thing can continue into your and your intentions and how we feel this and how wait a minute, what are my next steps? What am I doing if I do? What will the ripple be if I make this choice at this specific? That is something that we find hard in reference to how our feelings and our emotions and what our expect us. I think it's been amazing to see how having only positive expectations and let's kind of look at that. Having H, right? Only O, positive P, expectations E, hope, right? Having hope is all about also having positive expectations. Now, is there a balance even in that? Because when we're talking about positive expectations, that is honestly something where um, we've got to balance being going way too far overboard and being what they call irrational, right? Not being rational is going to lead to some probably level of insanity at some point in time, right? So we do have to recognize that these positive expectations need to have alignment with how life is really lining up for you, and also I'm one that feels that things are placed in order for a reason, for a season, and I definitely feel like we've got to recognize that life is not necessarily something that we can control, right? Um, it's one thing that we can do is that we get to be able to for the road, but there is this week's session about encouragement. You know, there's going things that are going to come up in life. And it's been one of these first get diagnosed, and you're supposed to be in a wheelchair. I'm walking in. I'm walking. You were thinking because the X is that will be coming in between the and what they're seeing, right? And I feel like even that there's an expectation, negative or for the future, with that gonna go necessarily you thought it was. It's your thought. For life are not gonna come true, that you thought that you would do. Right. No, it's just you might need to, yeah, I hate this word, adapt. And you might have to continue to adapt over and over and over. And as you adapt, it's crazy because you tend to find, in this darker periods, this level of, oh, hope. I gotta have hope to get out of this. Hope to get out of this. Hope, which is a crazy in the season of Advent, right? That we speak in reference to how much our hope for self, for others, really is what is going to push the growth in reference to how the world will move forward. And so I really impress upon you to recognize that, you know, the fears that we tend to carry in our lives will honestly be somewhat of what will keep us there, you know? And so stepping out of the comfort zone is somewhat how you step out of the darkness, right? But stepping out into the comfort zone also constitutes you having faith and hope that what come with may, right? And so I think what I would say in reference to my life is that I've found that the cure for the pain that I've gone through is pushing to recognize because the within, right? I can't live. I've got to, and so I did my pause moments. Presence will recognize it's some kind of craft, some kind of painting, some kind of drawing. Maybe it's even writing poems. Maybe it's just writing in general, doodle, whatever it may be, right? But recognizing that even in that moment, I'm calming, right? But I'm also analyzing, figuring out what the strategy may be, right? The next step that I will move forward in life and figuring out that I want to move forward into life and not anything more than that, right? Because know that the lives of, so I be make sure that I to shine that will win, right? Really faking it to making it, their shine. Why holistic life care is looked at lighting is important. Light within becomes just the way that the world goes round. And so, Arthi, I know when we found each other, it was definitely meant to be. And so, I think that, as we kind of continue the journey through in this conversation, I think it was very important to also really point out for you when we're talking about the light, right, within, what does it actually do for us, right? And some of the things that I am going to share with you in just a moment is basically things that if when you find the light within, you will be comforted by, right? So actually, if we could have the next slide up, put up there, Juan, thank you. So the light within, as I have, oh, it seems like it went off the screen there. Oh my goodness, here. Gotta love it. Let's get that back up there again. But the light within, when we're talking about this light within, we're also talking about how we, it actually is a, an accompanying feeling, right? This comfort in difficult times, right? Additionally, it allows us to love ourselves and all of ourselves. It reveals honestly really who we are, good, bad, and indifferent as far as I'm concerned, right? And these pause moments allow us to do just that, right? To look at ourselves and who we are, right? And also figure out through this lens that we look through, let's decipher, are some of these our feelings and our emotions, and they're over clouding the really who we are, right? I know that, also it's something that, like I said, illuminates, right? And inspires. And then also, I would hope, transform. It also shows us how to live with love, compassion, and also to have justice towards others. Being mindful. I think that is key as we're hearing in all of our lives. It also gives us energy and power to change ourselves and the world in small ways and in large. And what I've found that is, with great lives, they're really the sum of minute decisions. And so I think you've got to recognize the small decisions that you make on a daily, whether it's being nice to somebody, smiling at somebody, even helping somebody out, right? Creates this power and energy within to change the world. It also leads us to the right decisions, and how we either worship, but also how we conduct business, how we interact with each other, how we honestly even approach each other. They're in our times of need. It is never okay for somebody to take advantage of you in your weakness. And I know within my disease, there has been these times in my life where I felt hopeless. And as I've seen my parents starting to get older, that they are saying that they have times where they felt hopeless. And when we've discussed it, it's been referring to how we've been treated by somebody within the healthcare system, not the whole system, but sometimes somebody's having a bad day, right? And so I know that when we're emotionally, mentally not doing good, our light is not shining on others, right? And nor our ability to see the light within others at that time. And so I know sometimes when you feel like you've got to rely on this system, that it is not fair to also have this um, honestly disrespect in a lot of levels when they're not allowing you to be heard, understood, or additionally know what you're feeling. And so I know their level of advocacy that's needed out there is very important, but we also need to recognize that recognizing that if we're loving ourselves to this level of being able to see that we can shine in that, how are we going to do that to change the situation at hand? When she's coming negative, how are you going to reflect positive to be able to let the light shine and hopefully hers at least flicker? But I also feel that in these pause moments or these times when we're reflecting on the light within ourselves, we also should be giving reverence to the purpose of your life and God's truth upon it. And if we can only hold on to that while also seeing the light within, I think it really is greatly appreciated. I honestly want to laugh right now because my goofy husband is off to the side saying, I love you. And that's cool because it's, a way of showing somebody the light and hopefully beaming back. But I want to knock him out right now. Sorry, side note, all in all. I think honestly finding ways that we can become a beacon of hope for others is obviously key, and I hope this platform will be just that for you all. Um, it's really one of these moments where I want to say it's all for you guys, right? But it's really an opportunity for me to stop and reflect once a week on what's going on with me. You know what I mean? And each one of these topics is something that I need to reflect upon in my own life and figuring out as I do how I can better assist you all in finding it as well. So I know one thing is always to try to find tools to really kind of move ourselves through. And so it's funny because today I find myself, I know another place, whatever, with these three little owls up here. Now, I don't know if you can see these owls that well, right? But if you really look at them, one, I see no evil, hear no evil, and thus I speak no evil. And I'm talking about within, right? When we're in these dark periods, I feel like it's important for us to find things that are going to be positive energy, right? Things that are going to be able to uplift us as opposed to downtrod us, okay? And sometimes when we're talking about I hear no evil, right? I'm into the show really negative energy speaking to us. There are ways that you and let your light shine upon when we're talking, watching, trying to be like in that observing others, right? As opposed to just seeing the beauty in somebody else, but not shifting to the jealous, envious aspects of, really seeing the beauty of, in people, but then also speaking. How am I going to, one, speak to others in a different way, but also, how am I going to start speaking to myself? What do I know about me that is good, that I can allow to shine? That's the thing. Because some people will not ever recognize what they have to shine. And it's really hoping that in this moment, you're finding a way or finding something that you know is the light that you'd like to shine. Is it that personality and love and embrace that tends to just honestly carry people through a moment? Are you the one that is going to just give a smile to just kind of change the moment? Maybe throw in there a positive twist on a negative situation. That would be finding the silver lining. And I think that is key to life, is when we're looking at the silver lining of clouds, right? Or the silver lining of a mountain, you'll see that it kind of is this outline of the mountain with a silver reflection that kind of shadows it. How are you going to find the silver lining that rises above all of it? All of it. But not only that, how are you going to hold on to it? And that's what we're going to try to do here. We're going to try to figure out how we can hold on to it. As we move into next year, we're looking at a couple more weeks, and we will be looking into January. And what we're going to start doing come January is really delving into the different dimensions of you, right? To figure out really how you're going to do it. And we're going to do it together, which is even better, right? But before that, we always like to come together in unity. And one opportunity that we all have is to be able to celebrate Kwanzaa, which is celebrated from the 26th of December to January 1st. And basically, each day is really focusing on one principle that can honestly help all of us create a positive ecosystem, whether it be within or additionally as a whole. And so we will come and do that through a Zoom once every day. And then also we'll have this podcast come that Friday. And I think honestly, that would be a great opportunity for us to even delve a little bit deeper into the who we are, to be able to set the foundation for the year to come. So I hope you guys will continue to join us for the next few weeks so that we can kind of keep unpeeling a little bit of really what a pause moment can do for you. And that's the main point of this month, is really for first, prior to our Kwanzaa celebration, is we want to let you know how pause, or a pause even within your own life that you take independent from what we do, right, can really help you. And we really are doing so that we can create this moment for you to grow. And I think also in that find purpose, and additionally figure out what this whole dash reflects to see how that legacy will shine. And so we hope that that each one of us will, as you know, each different host or co-host comes upon, or guest comes upon, that you will really be able to gain the pieces and um, of your life that you would like to kind of start focusing in on, and figuring out how we can make a positive shift within. Um, but as you can see, a pause moment constitutes a lot of you. I can tell you, it's like bringing somebody to the water. And you know what that means? Can't drink, right? Not necessarily. And you never know if a person will drink or wants to drink. And the thing about it is it something to drink? And that is even something in a pause moment you reflect on too. You know what I mean? Because everybody, something that is good for one is not always good for the other. And so I know that I that one of the main things for us to be able to do here is allow you to go within, but then also recognize when you possibly are needing more. You know, when you're needing professional help, or a life coach, or additionally getting some guidance through, um, your PCP, your primary care physician. A lot of people don't recognize how much those primary care physicians can assist you in just trying to navigate the next steps. They're pretty much like the house that holds everything, right? And then, but they have to report to a central office. And so I think having your PCP on the same page is really necessary as you conduct your journey, whether it be through your journey physically, or additionally your mental health as well. And so I think one other slide that I would like to share with you, and it seems like I did something wrong here. Let me get it. Is really what I have been thinking about over the last, couple of days, is really what I hope. And that is basically what I hope for you. That yesterday reminds you of how strong you were. And this is what we want to find here. And today proves proves to you how capable you are. And tomorrow, it tells you how fantastic you can really be, right? And so this is where we want to focus on, is the areas in the yesterday. Also, giving gratitude to those time periods, but then also today, right? Reflecting upon today and how you will walk, and additionally think about others and be mindful, but also be transparent and also honest with self. But then for tomorrow, we want you to really know how fantastic you can be. And that is that light within. and how you can let it shine, and you can let it shine upon others so that others can additionally benefit from knowing you, one, additionally seeing the legacy within, but also how that change in the spirit in that moment could change the day, the course of the day. And so I just hope, like I said, that we can all at some point in time really reflect upon the pause aspects that need work, right? And that we take those aspects that need work, and we find that silver lining that we're going to allow them to shine in a different way, right? Or at least shine, period. Sometimes we look at who we are. Sometimes people have a negative energy, is what we feel, right? But when we reflect back on that negative energy, we realize that that negative energy moved you. It moved you to do more, do better, do different, do it with a mindful motivation, right? Thinking about the whole reasons for why you created whatever it was in the first place. If you own a business, think to yourself, well, what did I create this for in the first place, right? Was it for the people? And so, if so, what am I doing for them? And is it shining a light upon them, but then also allowing one to shine within them? And so, once again, it's just been great having an opportunity to really spend some time with you guys. And as you know, we do this kind of every Friday. Um, and if you allow us, we'll all be able to grow together. And I think that has been one thing that I I am needing, if nothing else. So I appreciate you guys for joining us once again. Also, we just, ask you to tell some friends and additionally, get the word out, start this movement for a moment for people to really take some time to pause. And if you take it seriously yourself, right, and feel that energy of what it can do for you and how you can still keep the walk and talk. I think that if you had an MRI, you'd be walking into, right? Regardless of what people are saying, it's what's within you that you know you can do. So, thank you once again. Blessings until next week. And next week, we're going to discuss restoring your heart. Whew, definitely need some hope on that. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves once again. I will see you next week. And please follow us. Blessings.